Howdy, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone's doing alright. Don't mind me just getting a couple more things set up here as always. Let's see, also going to turn the music down just a little bit too. Alrighty. Cool. Might just wait for a few more people to trickle in here as we get set up. Let's see. Might change the music. Oh, I like that song. We're gonna keep this one for now. Okay. Alright, let's get this set up over here. Alrighty. Alright. Cool. Ooh, you know what? I forgot my gloves. Hold on, I'll be right back, y'all. Right back. Oh. Cool. All right, we're back. We are back. Let's see. Glove on right there. Okay, perfect. Well, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and get started while we're waiting for people to come in. That is totally fine. So, hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Christian here at Chimera Games. Welcome back to another stream. Very excited to have everyone here together yet again for a fun Thursday night painting stream. It's going to be chill, nice and cozy, you know. Tonight we're just finishing, or not finishing rather, we definitely won't finish these tonight, but we're just continuing our work on our Sisters of Battle for our Adepta Sororitas army for Warhammer 40,000. I'm really excited to just jump back into it, so without further ado, I think we're just gonna go into it. Oh, well, I guess I will say one more thing. Thank you all so much once again for supporting the channel as always. Got a number of new subscribers in the past week since the last time I saw y'all. Welcome, new subscribers. Very grateful to have you here at Chimera Games. I hope you enjoy your stay. If you like what you see here today, y'all, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and chat away in the stream as well. And don't forget to, of course, subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you know when I go live every night on, not every night, oh, I wish every night, but every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or I guess now technically it's Eastern Daylight Time now, because Daylight Savings Time has unfortunately graced us with its presence yet again, at least here in the United States. Woohoo. Losing an hour of sleep stinks, but you know, we'll all adjust. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for supporting the channel, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So tonight I am actually really excited because tonight I've decided to finally break out the quote-unquote good brushes. These brushes are Rosemary & Co. brand pointed sable brushes. These were a Valentine's gift from my lovely girlfriend. I got sizes 0 through 5 here, so I got 6 of them. What's really nice about these brushes is that they're very high quality, and they are also very cheap as well. So, you know, you're not breaking the bank necessarily when you are purchasing these brushes, but, you know, you get a brush that'll last as long as you treat it right, as with any brush, no matter the quality. And I haven't really used them on anything since getting them. So yeah, because I've kind of been like scared to touch them because I don't want to, like, you know, mess them up or anything. So we're just gonna give them a shot tonight and see how things go, pretty much. So yeah. And I, of course, will just be vibing in the meantime with y'all. So cool. Sorry, I still was moving a couple of things around in OBS real quick. So where are we at right now? So let's take a look at Jan here. To summarize everything we've done so far, we've, of course, base coated and shaded the armor and that gorgeous Celestian blue hue. Today, or tonight, I should say, the next thing I want to focus on really is going to be the inside of the cloth, which is going to eventually be a nice white color. In order to build up the white color very slowly, we're going to start off by base coating all the insides of all the cloths as a gray, and then we're going to build up to the white as we go, getting brighter and brighter, so that way the white looks like it has some nice depth to it. And also it'll just get easier and easier to apply as we go up the layers. We're also going to do the shoulder decorations as well, which are also white. We're going to also block those out in gray before we begin painting them in white as well. This will help us to, of course, not only get like that really nice rich white that I talked about before, but also it's going to help us cover up some of the mistakes we made while painting over the cloth last week. I think I kind of alluded to that last week, but you know what I mean. So yeah, let us go ahead and begin. So of course the first thing we want to do as always is take our brush and get it wet. And then we want to roll it into a nice point, either within our cup or on the side in a paper towel. I'm actually going to move the rest of the paint brushes to the side real quick. Okay, now we got our paintbrush rolled into a nice point like so. So now we're ready to begin. I was kind of going back and forth on this for a little while, but I think what I've ultimately decided is that the gray we're going to start off with, or really I guess it's more of a desaturated blue, is going to be our French Mirage Blue by Vallejo model color. I really like this gray just because it's a bit of a different gray, you know. Provides a little bit of a different take on a gray. I think the fact that it's a bluish gray too means it'll go very nicely with the blue armor, kind of, in a way. And I just, you know, never really used it in this way before, so I'm just curious to see how that will go, really. So yeah, we're going to take just the smallest dot of it, because we don't need very much for this stuff to start off with. At least we're going to take that, we're going to apply that to our wet palette, which has already been, of course, loaded with water. That should be enough. Terrific. And then to get this then down just to the consistency that we need, we're going to take our brush, we're going to dip it in the paint, just load it up the, sort of like from the tip to the middle part of it. Got a little bit of excess on there, I'm going to get rid of that. Don't want to overload the brush ever. We're going to just dip it in the water so that all the paint on the brush is submerged. We're going to test that out on our wet palette right here like so, and that looks like a really nice consistency. So now we're ready to apply it to the miniature. And look at that, it's just flowing right off the brush. Wow, speaking of the brush, this brush feels really nice to use too. Like I said, I haven't used these Rosemary & Co. brushes yet, and these are like the first nice brushes I've owned since starting to paint almost, or over a year ago, really. And these just control really nicely, I gotta say. The difference really, I mean, it's hard to describe the difference. It's something that you kind of have to like feel for yourself, really, by painting. But yeah, no, this feels really nice, actually. This feels great. Oh yeah, this is terrific. I know, sorry, I know I keep remarking how much I like this a lot, but like, y'all understand, like, this feels like painting for the first time all over again, low-key. Not to be too dramatic about it, but you know, it's like nice. This is like really nice. Hmm. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, we're getting some really nice coverage from this French Mirage Blue right off the bat. So I don't think this is going to take an awful lot of layering. Honestly, like, this might only take, it might take 2 thin coats, but low-key, it might only take 1. We'll see as we progress here, but so far, I am feeling pretty confident in both this paint and this brush, really. And that feels really good to experience. That confidence. Nice. So that's all blocked out on Jan, so now we just got to get her shoulder ornaments. I was thinking about switching to a smaller brush for this one, but I think the point on this size, which one is this? This is the size 1 brush, is going to be just perfect enough for us. So, let's see here. Let me refocus that for us here. Maybe pull out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That should work. Okay. There we go. Gotta sort of stabilize myself here. Also, I'm wearing a glove on my left hand tonight because I cut myself on my hand by mistake last night while doing some cooking. And I'm healing up, you know, I'm doing alright. But, you know, don't want to subjugate y'all to the sight of that, of course, so we are just wearing a glove, both for protection of the wound and protection of y'all's eyes. It's not bad by any means, but, you know, it does leave a little bit of an impression. Yeah, this smaller detail work that we're starting to focus in on now is like one of my favorite parts of the painting process. It used to be my least favorite part of the painting process, but as I've gotten better at painting, painting the details has become more fun, and then now, like I said, it's the most fun part for me. Because it's the part where the model really feels like it's starting to like feel lifelike, and you're kind of just exiting out of that phase of being like completely unsure of like where the heck your paint job is really going, and being kind of terrified because you don't see it. It's kind of like the phase where clarity comes into play, you know? And that clarity feels really nice and is a validation of all the hard work that you've put in prior to. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit. I think we might be a little too zoomed in for our liking. Hey Isabel, welcome in. Good to see you. You haven't missed very much. We are just, I was just explaining that right now we are just blocking out all these gray parts because eventually white is going to be going here instead of gray. And what I'm doing is I'm starting with the gray so I can build up more gradually to the white color in order to make the white seem less flat and give it more dimension. And I was actually just explaining that I am using the paintbrushes that you gave me. So finally, you know, finally decided to be brave and break these bad boys out, and they are a dream. So thank you very much, my love. I really appreciate this gift. I'll tell you what though, even though I just said that I really like the detail, like the more detail-oriented phases of painting nowadays a lot more, these wings, these Imperium insignia on the left shoulder of the sisters, these will always vex me when it comes to painting these sisters. They're such a great detail to look at, but at the same time, They are probably one of the more unforgiving things to paint on these models, so there's that too. Lots of give and take. Lots of give and take going on there. I've already made a couple of mistakes here and there, but you know what? That is okay, because we can always fix them later. We can always fix them later. Also, I'm judging by your reactions, babe, that my sound, it's good, right? Like, my sound's not too low or too high. I realized I turned the music down. I'm gonna turn it back up here in like 2 seconds. Once I finish painting Jan's shoulder details. I will say though, surprisingly, the fleur-de-lis on the right shoulder though, I used to actually have a really hard time painting these back when I first started. But this one actually turned out really well. Oh, thanks, babe. I'm glad you think so. Here we go. I'm just gonna wipe that off real quick while I readjust our music. I decided to throw a bunch of the different Stream Beats playlists. Yep, it's your girl Jan. For those of you who weren't here for, I think it was like the first or second stream, had to be the first stream. Jan was named by Isabel. So I had asked for names, and Isabel provided the fantastic name of Jan. What was I doing? Oh yeah, turning up the music. That's right. I am trying to turn up the music right now. So I'm going to turn up the music. Where's my volume slider? Okay. There we go. Perfect. Isabel says, I love the title of the stream. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying. I was decided to try something a bit different with the stream title tonight. Try to have a little bit more fun with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid of the YouTube algorithm at all. What you talking about? All right, so I think Jan is done. Let's move on to the Sister Superior real quick. Okay, so she doesn't have a lot of the under part of her cloth really showing, so this should be pretty easy. Hit that little bit of under part that's showing, and then we will move on to her shoulder details. Rinse, repeat until all the layers are done. And like I said, this French Mirage Blue is covering very nicely. Isabel says, bye, Jan. Don't worry, Jan will be back later. This French Mirage Blue is covering really nicely, so we might only need like one coat of this at the thinness we've brought it down to get through all these. So I'm just going to very strategically angle myself here. We are going to just get that little bit of the cloth that we can see. Like so. Also, I'm wearing the glove in case you're wondering because I hurt my hand. I don't know if you heard that part. I don't know if I told you yet, but yeah, I hurt my hand the other day. Hey, Janine, what's up? Welcome in, welcome in. Oh, you know what? I forgot one more fleur-de-lis. I'm gonna have to go back to Jan in a little bit here. Forgot that there's one on their kneecaps too. How you doing, Janine? How's your day been? Oh no, like scrape my hand. Well, actually, I did it two ways. There was that, and I also like cut myself by mistake when I was cooking dinner last night. Not super bad, but enough to the point where I wouldn't want to, like, you know, to put y'all to the subjugate y'all to the side of that while I'm painting, of course. Don't want it to be distracting, nor do I want y'all to be grossed out. So yeah, but I'll be okay though. Pretty good. That's good, Janine. I'm glad you're doing all right. Thank you for joining the stream as always. Appreciate y'all's support. Ah, thanks, babe. I appreciate that. Okay. That looks pretty good. I honestly, because the inside of it already looks pretty gray from our zenithal priming, I'm gonna disregard that deeper part, like right here in the middle, because you can barely see it anyway. And I am very much of the mind of do not worry about painting what you cannot really see. So let's move on to this fleur-de-lis right here. Janine says fleur-de-lis times about 4. You are no legal, so that of course makes sense. Gotta represent the actually I don't know the New Orleans area code off the top of my head. Also, Jeannie, I've been meaning to ask you, how far away is Baton Rouge from you out of curiosity? I was just thinking like, wow, I really can only name 2 Louisiana cities or townships, and those are literally the only 2 because one's the capital and one is one of the most famous cities in America, so yeah, there's that. But I don't know how far apart they are. .504, that's what okay. I vaguely remember hearing that somewhere. Where, I don't remember. But somehow I knew, like, the 504 was, the New Orleans area code. Like an hour? Okay, that's not bad. How are the roads down there, out of curiosity? Do you drive a lot down there, or no? Do you have to drive to get to, like, work and stuff? Do you commute? How do you commute to work? Okay, how do we get this part right here? The roads are ghetto. Oh no. Are there any like major highways down in Louisiana? I imagine not really, but I could be wrong. And you have to have a car here. Oof. Oof. We do not appreciate. We do not stand a not so walkable area. Or rather, like non-walkable area. A car dominated area. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hold on. It's getting warm in here. I gotta take my sweatshirt off real quick, y'all. There are highways, I got you. I think I don't need headphones to read chat. Whew. Okay. It was suddenly very warm in this room. But water damage and stuff. I see. This was a strip. Oh my god. Maybe at 1 million subscribers. Striptease at 1 million subscribers. Don't quote me on that. Please don't quote me on that. Anyway. Moving on. I think Janine was talking about the deplorable state of Louisiana infrastructure. Oh my god. Throwing cash at me in the chat. Well, I do have a tip link down below. Of course, tips are never expected. Always appreciate it. Which I realized until I didn't realize until recently that it actually had not been working, but I finally fixed it now. And actually, could y'all double check to make sure for me that the tip link down in the description is working? Like you can open it and actually go to my tip page. That would be great. Thank you. You just double check on that for me, because I think it works on my end, but I don't know how it is for like y'all. You know what I mean? bing. Bada boom. Okay, that looks really good. It's nice to know that after about a year and some change of painting, I think I've finally gotten the hang of thinning my paints. Isabel says, I'll read that in just a second. Isabel says, okay, I just tried to do it on my phone. The only option to pay is with PayPal, correct? And PayPal wouldn't load, but it might just be my phone being slow. Okay, that's fine. As long as you were able to get to the landing page, then that means it worked. That was the part that I was concerned about. Thanks for checking on that for me, babe. What playlist is this? I like the music. So, I don't know if you heard me say this at the top of stream, but the, you might have come in just after I said this, but, I decided to like throw together a bunch of like the Stream Beats playlists. So I've got like the two previous ones, Sakura Dreams and Cherry Soda, that we've been listening to this entire time. And I threw in a couple more too. I think one is called Supreme, and then I forget the name of the other one, but I'll give you the title of it in just a little bit when we get to like a bit of a stopping point. This sister has a purity seal, which is basically just like a commendation from the Emperor being like, oh yeah, this person right here, this person is loyal to the Emperor. Taped her a power pack right here, so we're gonna also block this out in grade 2. Hey, Ultra Lord, what's good, man? How you doing? Good to see you, good to see you. Welcome in. Yeah, I decided to mash up a couple different vibes. Exactly, Isabel, exactly. Ultra Lord, how you doing, my guy? Hopefully you're doing alright. Hey, Gray, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. How you been? Pretty good, my dudes. That's good, that's good, that's good. Happy to see everybody. Right now, I was explaining before that what we're doing right now is we're just blocking out all the white parts of our color scheme right now by first blocking them out in gray, and then we're going to build ourselves back up to a white color. That way our white has a little bit more depth to it, doesn't look, you know, too terribly flat or anything like that. Because I'm trying to get better at my layering, so this is going to go a ways to helping me get to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, layering, I can do that, you know. Might even attempt a little bit of wet blending here too. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. This is a much more detail-oriented step than steps that we've previously completed, so I imagine this one will actually go faster because we don't have like a lot of surface area to cover, so we'll see how far we get. I'll be back in a minute. Gotta run the dishwasher. Very important. Definitely go do that. I'm free from tech. Good to be back. Oh my god, that's right. You have been in tech for a minute now. How was tech? And also, what show was it again that you were doing tech for? I forget which one. We... Clean Dish King, Isabel says. Yes, we stand a Clean Dish King. Hashtag Clean Dish King. Clean Dish Gang? Anyway. Mm-hmm. That looks pretty good. Okay. Oh, I gotta tuck this away real quick and load up the next sister. Let's see. Also, Gray, how many weeks of tech has it been for you at this point? Or had it been up until this point? It was like 2 or 3, it felt like, maybe? Also, yeah, this French Mirage Blue just covers really nicely, too. I'm very glad that I decided to go the route of using this color for our gray layer. Oh, gray. Want to give me dating advice? Absolutely. We are always down for that, Janine. So, want to give me dating advice? Absolutely. Fire away. What is the scenario here? What are we looking at? That's fine. The play is Mojada, a Medea in LA by Luis Alfaro. Oh, interesting. We love a good Medea moment. I feel like, did you really graduate from art school unless, like, they put on one production of some iteration of Medea in your time there? Doesn't matter if you're in it or out of it. You know? So a dude I've been talking to asked me on a date. Ooh. Exciting stuff, exciting stuff. I think we can send up some poggers in the chat for that. Gray says it was a week of tech and a week of preview, so kind of 2 weeks tech. Ah, I see. Ginny says, and I'm trying to figure out if I'd love to sounds eager. I see. In my opinion, no. I'd love to does sound enthusiastic, but it doesn't sound eager. I mean, I know me personally, like when I hear the words I'd love to, that is like music to my ears. But you know, not everyone is, you know, as equally receptive to that as me. You know, some might be more, some might be less. I guess it depends on like how you assess your rapport with this dude, you know. Do you feel like he would be appreciative of your enthusiasm, or do you feel like he'd be repulsed by it? If you feel like he'd be sort of repulsed by your enthusiasm, I'd be careful about that, I suppose, because you should be able to be as enthusiastic as you want to be toward these things, you know? Zeal, hey, Zeal, what up? Zeal says, Medea is baller, I don't give a fuck. Absolutely. No, we stand Medea over here. Didn't mean to, suggest otherwise. Isabel says, if you add enough exclamation points, anything is eager. That is very true. That is very true. It's all about the punctuation, especially if it's over text, you know what I'm saying? I'm guessing this is a text conversation, Janine? Wait, Gray, you said that's what I said in terms of what? I think I'd love to is a great response, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Gray. I agree. It's not too eager at all. I don't think it's too eager at all. And if you fear that he would think that it's too eager, that's on him, not you. Absolutely not. Just put a period or something, yeah. Now, I will say about the period though, but maybe don't add the period, because as we know in text conversations, periods are effectively declarations of war. No, I'm kidding, of course, but you know, yeah. If you do put an exclamation point, maybe like, you know, don't put in like, you know, too many, maybe just one. You know, if we're trying to strike a balance between tone here. Oh, you guys are in a nerd's call? Ah, I wish I could be there right now. Y'all should get Discord so we can talk while I'm streaming too. Just like a singular thumbs up. Zeal, that is such an on-brand. That is so on-brand for you, a singular thumbs up. And I respect the shit out of you for that. Truly I do. I appreciate your commitment. Your commitment to your own morals and principles. It's admirable. Big thumbs up for that. Oh my god. Okay, let's get these shoulder details right now. You settled on I'd love to. Smile emoji, that's perfect. Yep, that's exactly how I would do it too. In fact, I think that's how kind of how our one of our like earlier text conversations we were setting up our first date went, babe. Isn't that right? Or am I wrong? Am I tripping? I don't know. It's been a while, you know? It's been almost a full 2 years since that day. And boy, oh boy, what a great day it was, if I may be corny for a little bit. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see here. Do that. Do that. Janine says, LOL, just sent it. Okay. This is officially turned into a war room. We are now awaiting reply from the other side. See how they respond. LOL, probably, yeah, true. Chimera Games, Warhammer content, and also does dating advice. Facts. We are multifaceted, multi-hyphenated artists here in this camp. We paint, we sing. We offer life advice, especially in the realm of dating. We do all sorts of things here. We do all sorts of things here, not just one thing. That's why I call the channel Chimera Games, after the mythological beast that is made up of multiple different creatures. Pretty much. I don't know, I thought it was kind of clever. Warhammer of Literally, isn't that just Thor Love and Thunder though, Janine? You tell me. Warhammer, I hardly know. Oh my god. I was waiting for that one. Warhammer, I already know her. Don't lie to us, you just wanted it to begin with the letter C. I mean, that too. That also is a reason why I picked this name. Because I was looking for something that would be somewhat alliterative with my name. You know what I mean? And Chimera just sounded cool. Zeal says, meanwhile, can someone explain why I'm like filled with anxiety after my second round interview? Hey, congrats! Is it because I'm nervous after being rejected after 3 rounds? Yeah, I mean, no, that's totally real. Cause like I know people who get rejected after like going through so many rounds of interviews. You know, making interviewing for one particular job basically like its own part-time job in and of itself. And it's something to definitely be nervous about. Like your feelings are so valid. Knowing you though, I know you're gonna absolutely you're gonna kill it. You're gonna continue to kill it, and they are gonna hire you. And if they don't, they are dum-dums. I didn't finish it, so I couldn't tell you. Ahaha, yeah, true. I didn't finish Thor Love and Thunder either. Janine. Yeah, I think you're gonna get this job, Zeal. Based on the description of it you gave last time, it just seems like it's such a great fit for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's by design. Gotta keep you on your toes. Yeah, I think I agree with Janine for sure. They want to make sure that you really care. Which is messed up, and they shouldn't do that. They should not play with people like that. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you care, it is, and you should let us all know when will you find out, like, whether or not you advance or, like, get the job or whatever the next step is? When do you find out about next steps? When are you supposed to be notified? They said I'll know by the end of March for sure. Well, that's a really freaking long time. End of March? They're like 15 days left in March. That's like literally waiting to hear back about college all over again. Well, that is really exciting though, yeah. Well, at least they don't ghost like the other positions I've applied to. That's true. I hate when jobs ghost, bro. I hate when jobs ghost. I got ghosted by Apple back like more recently after graduation, when I was trying to like still find like a job to land at, and I was trying to apply for a job at Apple, and they ghosted me, even though a friend of mine that already worked there like submitted me through like her employee referral. I still never heard anything back, and I was like, bro, what the hell? That sucks. That's neither here nor there now, because, you know, it all worked out in the end ultimately exactly how I was supposed to. Now I'm at a job that I really love. And no matter what happens with you, you're going to end up right where you need to be, Zeal, and it's going to be fantastic. You're going to thrive. And it's going to be great. Let's see. The parallel horrors of modern jobs, searching and modern dating. No, literally. Literally. I think those of us in the chat who are creatives too, especially those of us who are actors, can relate to that as well, because, you know, finding representation, finding an agent, they say it's like dating, because you got to find someone with whom, you know, they share your goals, they are willing and able to get to know you like on a very personal level, so they can like find, you know, the best work for you that you'll be the most successful at, you know, thrive the most, and you know, some, and generally just want to find someone that, you know, has your best interests at heart, right? And you gotta meet a lot of people before you kind of land on the one, you know what I'm saying? You can't just expect any agent to take you, really, is my point. So there's some advice for the young actors in the audience, if there are any, other than myself, Isabel, and my peers who are recent graduates of acting school, TM. So there's that too to consider. But yeah, no, so all that's to say, Zeal, that I relate. I can see where you're coming from with the horrors of modern job searching and modern dating paralleling each other, almost overlapping each other. The Venn diagram is truly almost a circle there. Connor says, damn, this really is comparable to dating. Yeah, it really is. It really freaking is. Right down to how like representation's found online for a lot of actors nowadays too. What we learned about in acting school in part is the art of the cold email, where you just track down an email address of an agent who you think, or an agent or agency you really want to work with, and you just send them an email, cold, unintroduced, unsolicited, being like, hey, this is me, here's what I can do, here's what I think would be good together. I'd say it's like Tinder, but really, I guess in that regard, I'd say it's like Tinder. I would say it's like Tinder, but I guess in that regard, it's more like eHarmony. It's more like eHarmony, I guess you can say. Maybe Match.com, I don't know. I mean, I've literally never used either of those. I was on the dating apps for a while, though, prior to meeting Isabel. I was on them for a solid year, and it was one of the worst years ever. And from a social scene perspective, I mean, there was also the pandemic too, but like, you know, the dating apps did not make it better, and I'm so grateful to be off of them now, because that was like, oof, that was a biggest oofus, as we would say back in like 2018, maybe 2017. Christian's dating app era. Oh god, don't get me started. Christian's bizarre adventures. Great googly moogly. As the wise Major Monogram would once say. Has that new season of Phineas and Ferb come out, by the way? Zeal says, I've forsaken dating apps. If only I could forsake the job search. Hey, Milk Dreams, welcome back. Nikki G, welcome back, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. We were just discussing to what extent the horrors of the modern day job search parallel those of modern dating. One day I'll find love and a job. If only I could forsake the job search. That's real. That is very real. Oh my god, that is so real. Milk Dreams and Nikki, just to catch y'all up to speed on what we're doing with our models here. Right now we're just blocking out the what will eventually be the white parts of the model. I am starting them off with a bit of a gray before we move on to the white, just so the white has a bit more depth to them. And so that the way the white covers a lot better than it would if we just put it straight on the model. And also because I want to give layering a shot tonight too. Kind of work on that skill a little bit. Which is a skill that I have not used very often, so you guys are going to see me out of my comfort zone for a little bit. Once we get to those brighter layers, so we shall see how it goes. We shall indeed see how this goes. And our gray that we're using is a Vallejo Model Color French... Oops, let me turn to my mic. The gray that we're using is Vallejo Model Color French Mirage Blue, in case we were wondering. So there's that too. No, actually, hold on. Let me adjust my microphone real quick. That should do it. Okay, perfect. Milk Dreams and Nikki G, how are you guys doing? How's your day been? How's life? Really tiny detail on the knee here of this sister. I forget about these fleur-de-lis that are on the kneecaps all the time. And in fact, I realized I just forgot like the last 4 or 5. What white? Like a straight up white? So for now, it might end up being that. I do have like a plain white right here, but I also have pale sand on standby in case I decide to like sort of lean into a bit of a warmer white to go on top of the gray first before I do the bright white. But we shall see about that though. I'm kind of winging it. I'm not entirely sure if I have like all like the different shades of white and gray I would need, and if need be I will like start mixing some stuff together to see what I get and experiment with that. And until then we are, like I said, just kind of winging it. Nikki G says, life's good, just busy, ain't it always, ain't it always. And Milk Dream says, the figure's looking great so far. Thank you, I appreciate that. Today's been busy. I drew a lot of pictures. Oh, that's exciting. Are you just like drawing for the sake of like drawing, or like to practice drawing, or are you working on something specific right now, Milk Dreams? Or like a larger like project is what I mean by more specific. Obviously, working on any drawing is specific in and of itself. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Hopefully. Okay. Okay, what did I forget? I forgot this part right here. Okay. That looks good. I got a drawing. I got a lot of drawing requests from people on Twitter, so I'm going down the list. Lots of original characters. Oh, that's exciting. It's like original characters from like other people's works, or what you're drawing based on the requests from Twitter. If I got that right. Just move this over here a little bit. Move it down a little bit. I'm a painter, not an audio engineer, guys. I'm not even a painter necessarily. I'm a mini painter. You know what? If I may go on a slight tangent real quick, you know what's interesting to me? So, for context, every weekend on Twitch there's a stream that shows reruns of Bob Ross's painting show. They go through like 5 seasons in a weekend, and I think this past season was like seasons like 26 through 31 or something like that. It's like a really good comfy watch, you know. Painter, I hardly know her. Oh my god. And it's a really great comfy watch. One of the main reasons why I got a Twitch account in the first place. Let's see. Milkdream says, yep, they are characters other people have made for their own stories. Do you give your figures backstories? I do sometimes. Yeah, in fact, a couple of these figures, or one of these figures does indeed have a backstory. I don't know if you were here way back. It's like the second or maybe like the first stream ever when we named, I'll show you her in just a little bit. Give me like 2 seconds here to finish this wing right here. Where is Jan? Here we go. So this is Jan right here. Jan is a sister of battle, of course. What she's carrying the helmet of one of her fellow sisters who fell in combat. Little did everyone else know, though, that this sister, whose helmet she's carrying, was actually her secret lover. Love is not really a thing with the Adepta Sororitas. They are barred from having any sort of relationships akin to that, which is why it was secret. Ooh la la. And yeah, they went out on a mission together. She got shot up by a Tyranid ambush. Full name Jan of Arc, yes. Forgive me for neglecting to give her full Imperium name, but yes, that is Jan of Arc. And her sister who fell in combat, her name is Sport. So together they were hashtag JanSport. Sorry about that, my keyboard there. Except now it's just hashtag Jan, sadly. Rip Sport. She will be missed. And fuck the Tyranids, I guess. Which is kind of ironic because Isabel, who named Jan, is actually a Tyranids collector herself. And for those of you who are not familiar, Tyranids are like the big scary bug army of Warhammer 40,000. Really cool looking army. Honestly, I personally might want to collect some Tyranids in the future, especially some of like the bigger monster units. How dare you? I mean, hey, you named her. You helped create this backstory. I am just saying. There is culpability to go around here for the Tyranid slander. Just saying. You basically framed your bugs for murder. Just saying. I think they might refresh the NIDs. Yeah, it looks like it. If that 10th edition teaser trailer is to be believed, it looks like the Tyranids are getting a model range refresh coming down the pipeline, which is interesting to me. I'm curious to see what comes of that. For those of you who are less familiar with Warhammer 40,000, we just recently received some teaser bits about the next edition of the game that should be coming out soon. They could use a couple of revised kits for sure. Yeah, I agree. They really could. I wish they'd bring back the Spore Mines kit. Those guys were kind of cute. They're kind of one of the things that drew me to Tyranids initially. Like, oh yeah, these are kind of cool. And just like a little army of these guys. Not necessarily for their gameplay power. I don't know how strong they were or are in game, but I just thought they were cute, you know. You know how it is. Oh, by the way... Actually, no. That's not until later. Never mind. Also, do we think the new edition is being announced this next week at Adepticon? Yeah. I'd say that's probably like the big reveal they're building up to for Adepticon, is the reveal. Romeo says hi. Oh, hi, Romeo. Hi, Mo. I miss you, man. Romeo's one of Isabel's, dogs. Cute little guy. Yeah, I do think they're going to announce it at Adepticon. If they don't, I will be surprised. Hold on, let me adjust my mic again real quick. There we go. I do too. Maybe the lion revealed too. Ooh, very true. Mr. Telephone Man. Mr. Telephone Man, a new song. Oh, I get it, because I talked about the new edition of Warhammer 40k, and new edition is the boy band that sings Mr. Telephone Man. Good one, Janine. Good one, Janine. Always with it, with the quick humor. Appreciate you for that. Let's see. Oh, I just realized my model's like all the way over here. I see the lion coming out, especially with like all the hype around Dark Angels right now, because they just got that that box set with Vash Tor and those other Chaos Space Marine units in it. Definitely think they could be revealing our boy Lionel. Or rather the lion. What was I gonna say? Because also we got a link for Lord, not a link, a leak for Lord Commander Dante recently too, which I just find so hilarious. I love how they fully didn't intend to tell anyone that he's coming out anytime soon, and then like the leak happened and they're just like, screw it, roll with it. And now we have confirmation that Lord Commander Dante of the Blood Angels Space Marine chapter is coming back with a new, fresh model, which is exciting for Blood Angels players. I have personal beef with Blood Angels personally, because one of my worst defeats in a Warhammer 40k game of the 16 or so that I've played came at the hands of the Blood Angels, and it was brutal. Those Sanguinary Guard, they got close to me, and it was just over. They just deleted everything. Nikki G says, man, I ordered the old Dante 2 days ago. Ah, no. I hate when that happens. I hate so badly when that happens, when you like buy a model or a kit and then something else comes out that it's like, oh, this would have been obviously the better purchase if I had just like waited 2 weeks. I was going to paint it as a meme. Oh, dang. Dang. Well, you could still paint it as a meme, you know? And hey, at least you're able to get your hands on the old Dante before they disappear forever. Likely after the new Dante model gets announced and released. Like, I experienced a thing similar to what you did, Nikki, one time. I remember, like, just before the Christmas Battle Force set, the Christmas Battle Force sets for this past year were announced. I had just bought a box of Paragon warsuits for my sister's army, and for me, like, the Paragon warsuits would have been like the thing to go after in that box, because I already owned some standard battle sisters, already owned some Celestian Sacristans, and most importantly, I already owned Morven Vol. So like for me, the value would have been in the Paragon warsuits, but I'm like, well, I already have enough of those. Oh, actually no, I needed Paragon warsuits and I needed Celestian Sacristans. But I managed to get my hands on both before the Christmas Battle Force box came out. I was like, dang. Oh well. Ultralord says, my brother has been using the old Dante for like the last 20 years. Or wow, dang, that's dedication. He's really excited to get the new one, I think. That's good. That's good. Dang. Imagine owning the same model for 20 years. That's wild. That's one of the cool things about this hobby, you know, is like, you know, you take good care of your models, you literally have them for life, basically, especially because they're made of plastic. And plastic lasts practically forever, you know, for better or for worse, often for worse. But you know what I mean. Okay. I love Dante. I've been waiting for a new model. Word. Remind me which book Dante was featured in, Nikki, the one that you're referencing to? You're making a reference to? Oh, literally the one titled Dante, duh. Might have to pick that up then and check it out for myself. I've been looking to expand my Warhammer novel collection. And that's one of the cool things about Warhammer, y'all, is that sometimes like you'll see characters featured in like the books and in the lore, and then like you wonder to yourself, oh, is this character ever gonna get like you know, like a model in the game so we can play with them? And then sometimes they do, and when it does, it tends to be a pretty hype moment. I think he's also the oldest non-Dreadnought Space Marine. Dang. That's crazy. How old is he then at that point? Devastation of Baal too. Okay, gotcha. Those are the two books that I will definitely see if I can't get my hands on. Oh yeah, on the Loyalist side, yeah, true, because I guess a bunch of Chaos Space Marines would be much, much older. That is very true. I am not as up to snuff on my lore as I would like to be, admittedly. But we're gonna work on that, though. He's like 1,700 years old? Dang. That's crazy. That is crazy. 1,700 years. Sheesh. Yeah, the extent of my lore knowledge is like I know like the basic background lore and origins of like, you know, the armies that I play or collect. So like Sisters and Necrons primarily. The Votan, since I got the army launch box too. Know a little bit of Imperial Guardsman lore. It's kind of about it in terms of the extent of my lore knowledge. But I am eager to learn more once I find the spare time for it. So I definitely want to read up on all of it. Let's see. What do we have left to do now? Oh. Decals, that's right. Not decals, but... There we go. Also, speaking of Adepticon, I'm trying to think. How far away is Adepticon? I forgot. Let me look it up real quick. Where's my phone? Let's see. Let me see real quick. Oh, okay, it's like next week. It's the 22nd through the 26th. Okay. Cool. Perfect. So I was trying to think, because I know there have been like theories swirling around about the about when the next balanced data slate is going to drop. And I know that Adepticon, they have like a tournament going on too. I've been thinking a lot about that because I'm curious to know what's coming down the pipeline, because I think like people have been like theorizing that they're going to target like Gene Stealer cults and stuff because of their obscenely high win rate and like pro play. Also, that's because that's kind of also can be attributed to the fact that like not very many people also like not very many people play Gene Stealer cults too, so it's kind of like I don't know. Anyway, point is, I'm curious to see how Dante, like, rules-wise, is going to be balanced against the rest of the game. Whether it'll be like a pre-data slate thing or kind of like a post-data slate thing. Which one of those two he'll be, like, balanced with consideration to. Okay, that looks pretty good. For stuff that's coming out right now, makes sense, makes sense. I have no clue, I've still never played full 40k. Fair. Oh, that's right, I remember last time you said you mainly paint. That's true, that's true. Well, that is if he's not going to come out just after 10th. True. Also true. Here's what I'll ask you guys, Ultralord and Nikki. Ultralord, I'm curious to know like what your biggest like wishlist item is for like 10th edition. It could be anything, and like Nikki, for you, I'm curious to know like what type of model you would love to see in the future, if anything, for like 40k. Yeah, out of like 40k. What type of model you'd love to see added to the range? Also, Janine, any word yet? If you're still there, any word yet from that boy? In terms of models, I'd love to see new aspect warriors for the Eldar. Ooh, interesting. And let's see, other chapters stuff for Space Marines and new NIDs. Word up. Honestly, I'm excited to see the new NIDs too. I think the Tyranid models, I think some of like the larger Tyranid models are some of like the best looking in the game. I'm a big fan of the Trigon Prime, especially, or like the Trigon, and the Exocrine models are a couple of my favorites from that range, even though again I don't really collect Tyranid, or I don't collect Tyranids rather. Janine says not yet, but that's normal. The classic game of waiting forever for a text response. Yes, they are so cool. In terms of stuff specifically for rules in my armies, I'd love to see some respect given to 30k models and 40k. What do you mean by that specifically, Ultralord? I don't really know 30k that well. I've never played it, I've never painted it before. I want my Thousand Suns Contemptor Dreads to be able to... Ah, I see. Your Thousand Suns Contemptor Dreadnoughts to be able to psych. Makes sense, makes sense. And we're on our last sister here now, so this will be the last gray base coat we lay down before we move on to the brighter layers. So the combination of just French Mirage Blue as a paint and also our Zenithal highlighter are making this go very efficiently. Even though we can't really see the Zenithal very well through the French Mirage Blue, both combined are working very nicely to give us some really good coverage here off the bat without really needing to demand too much from the paint or myself, which is nice. It's helpful. Yeah. Zenithal is also giving me an idea of how to go about the highlights and such when we get to that point. Yeah, I'll get that, because since I was able to spot it from here, I'll go ahead and paint that inside part too. Yeah, I gotta say, this phase of the sisters painting process has gone much smoother so far than it has in in paint sessions past. I was gonna say years past if I've been doing this for multiple years. Nope, just one and some change. This time last year, though, trust me, I would have been struggling right now, especially with trying to get my paints thinned down to the right consistency. But that's one of those things that just comes with a lot of practice. It's not really something you can have a feel for, like, right off the bat. You know? Important to have patience with yourself when it comes to this sort of thing. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's move on to the armor details now, real quick. Real quick. By the way, Connor, in our past games, did you ever use your Contemptor Dreadnought against me, out of curiosity? Have I ever seen it? I don't think I've ever seen it. I didn't even realize you had one. Although I guess I should have known you had one. Because you were like the Thousand Suns guy in my life. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so either. Because I don't remember. I think I would remember seeing it. Because it's like the 30k one, right? There is no plastic equivalent of it, right? Or like equivalent of it in Warhammer 40k. Like in the Warhammer 40k model range. Or am I wrong? I have one for Sally's and one for Thousand Suns. I see. Gotcha. I didn't mean to wipe my brush. That was kind of just like a reflex, but I guess since we're here, we're gonna go ahead and wipe it anyway. There are plastic contemptors now for the Horus Heresy game. I see. Gotcha. That's nice. I'll tell you what, one of my biggest wishes for 10th edition is for the Nightbringer, the Catan Shard of the Nightbringer from the Necron's army to be brought out of resin and into plastic. Like, dear please God, please, Games Workshop. For the Emperor's sake, please make the Nightbringer a plastic model instead of resin. I do not like working with fine cast. Even though the models tend to only come in like literally like 3 or 4 pieces. The one time I tried building a fine cast resin model, it did not go well. It was a copy of Trazen the Infinite, who is my favorite Necron's character, for lore, purely for lore reasons, not at all for gameplay reasons. He's this Necron dude who basically goes around like the galaxy and like, you know, if he sees something he wants to add to his like collection of many things, he'll just literally yoink it, whether it be like a plant or like literally an entire custodian guardsman from the Adeptus Custodes. He will just yoink whatever he wants and add it to his collection. And he is honestly super real for that. I really admire his dedication to his hobbies. From one hobbyist to another, I think Trazen gives all of us an example to aspire to. Infinite and the Divine was a good book too. Ooh, Infinite and the Divine. Okay, hold on. I'm going to take a minute real quick to write down these book titles so that way I can look them up later. Maybe even find the audiobook for them potentially too. Alright, so we have Infinite and the Divine. Warhammer books, I'll make this new note. Failcast is the worst iteration of resin. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that there were multiple iterations of like resin. So we got Dante. We have Destruction of Ball. We have Infinite and the Divine. Perfect. It's a comedy. Oh, now I gotta listen to the audiobook version now. Can't spell his name. No, that is how you spell. I think Trazen, T-R-A-Z-Y-N. That is how you spell his name if I remember correctly. And besides, even if it wasn't, no need to apologize, of course. Isabel says, it smells so strong too, and I feel my brain cells dying when I'm around it. Oh, you're talking about resin? Yeah. I mean, most Forge World stuff is resin. Failcast is resin mixed with normal plastic, and it has all the worst qualities. I feel like that would be like setting you up for like a lot of like air bubbles and shit if you try to like mix resin with plastic. That seems like really, really bad. Brittle and will melt. Oh my god. That's awful. Yeah, Isabel, I feel you about the resin smell. In fact, like I remember like one time I was like in a basement or something with like a 3D printer going in it. Not your basement, Ultralord, but like there was some other time. I forget what the context was, but like yeah. I remember the smell being so strong. We had to put on masks and stuff, you know, to be in there with it because I think the room wasn't very well ventilated. Also, we've now finished the first layers of our white elements, so now we are going to build up the color some more. And I think the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take, I think it's too early for going straight to pure white. I'm going to come up with a sort of mid-tone between our white and our gray. And we're going to do that very simply by and open this brand new bottle of white. I'm pretty sure this bottle of white is kaput at this point. I'm gonna check. Actually, I should check that real quick. I should also mix this new bottle too. Let's see. Yeah, this feels very, very empty. This is probably on its last legs. You have a Vlad von Karnstein or whatever his name is, and his sword has huge bubbles and was bent completely out of shape to the point where it was unfixable. Yikes. Dang, that is bad. I can definitely see now why it's called Failcast. I knew fine cast resin was unpopular, but I didn't know it was that bad. My goodness. Okay, yeah. Everyone give a F in the chat for this bottle of Vallejo Model Color White. Literally have been using this bottle of Vallejo Model Color White since like I first started painting. This was the original bottle for me. It is now kaput, fully kaput, so rest in peace. Thank you for your service. Bottle number 1 of Vallejo Model Color White. You will be missed. Let's see, let's shake these up real quick. Okay, cool. Rip. Ripperoni indeed. Okay. Maybe like... That should be good. And then maybe we'll just do like 1 drop of white, because my understanding of Vallejo model colors white is that it's very highly pigmented, so like whenever I want to add it to another color, I should add less of it than I think I should add, because then at that point the white won't overpower the other color too much. And yeah, that's actually right, we're about where we want it for our mid-tone. I don't know if it's really all that easy to tell like what the difference is between the two, between our base and then like the mid-tone we've developed here, because of the light. But if you kind of look around like this part and like this part right here, you can kind of see how one is obviously lighter than the other. The thing with paints in general to be aware of is how like heavily pigmented they are, which you can kind of only tell based on experimentation. Basically, when you take even different colors within the same model paint range, what you have to be aware of is the fact that different colors are made with different amounts of pigment, right? Say like white is made with like, you know, 5 different pigments that can make up white, versus a black that's made up of like I don't know, maybe just like 2 pigments. I don't know if those are realistic numbers, but like bear with me, it's just for an example, right? So if you have a white that contains 5 pigments and a black that contains 2 pigments, then when you go to mix those 2 together, you have to be aware of the fact that you're not mixing 2 colors together, you're effectively mixing 7 colors together, and whichever one is more highly pigmented, it's going to pull your new color, your resulting color, more in that color's direction. So like if your white is more powerful than your black, for example, or say like your yellow is more colorful than your more powerful than your blue, you have to be aware of that when mixing your paints together in order to actually achieve the results you want, or try to find like a more purely pigmented paint, like single pigment paints, like Chimera brand paints. Chimera is spelled not the same way I spell Chimera, but K-I-M-E-R-A. Which is a paints brand. And now, okay, here's the part where I'm like, okay, I'm out of my wheelhouse here a little bit. So to build up the first one, let me fix this real quick. I didn't really get the good coverage on that wing right there. That's okay though. Okay, so what we got to do now is we're going to hold our model up to the light, basically. And you can actually kind of see it very faintly here too. In fact, I'll try to zoom in so y'all can see it a little bit better. But basically, if we were to zoom in on the model and hold it up to our light here, you see how there's an area of this cloak. This is all still just the same base coat. You see how there's an area that's clearly brighter than the others? Basically, where we want to apply this next mid-tone is going to be right on top of those brighter areas. And we can apply it on top of the whole brighter area, because basically what we're aiming to do is we are aiming to build up basically a pyramid of color as we move to brighter and brighter layers of highlight. Janine says, wow, why wow, Janine? So like to sort of demonstrate here on the map, for example, I can turn your attention to like right here real quick. What I mean is, you know, if I take like my dark color and like that's sort of layer 1 right there, which is like the darkest layer, then theoretically the next layer, layer 2, which is brighter than it, if you're to look at it as sort of like pyramid, should only be about like that wide in terms of coverage, and so on and so forth as we get brighter and brighter. So that's kind of the theory behind layering in a nutshell. So that's what we're going for here. Alright, wish me luck, y'all, because now I'm doing something that I haven't really done before. Oh boy. So I notice things are brighter here. Here. We're gonna kind of like go like right here. And you know what? If we fail, that's okay, because at the end of the day, this is just a learning experience. for us. Thanks, Isabel. That needs to be 2. And what you're gonna notice, is like some pretty harsh borders between our layers, but that's okay because we are going to go back and we are going to blend those out. Actually, I might even boldly attempt here. No, I waited too long. I was like, oh, do I want to like boldly attempt a little bit of wet blending here? But I waited too long for the paint to dry. In order to wet blend successfully, you kind of have to act really fast on it in order for the paint to move in the way you need it to. But that's okay though. We'll try it on the next model potentially. I've only watched like a tutorial on how to wet blend, so I don't really know how to do it the best. But you know, we're all about learning here at Chimera Games. It's like, what the heck, you know? What the heck? You live and let die. Wow, wow. Okay, this is obviously going to be brighter because this part is exposed to the light a little bit more than the rest. So then we're going to just do that. Wet blending is rough without a medium to mix in. That is true. That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure the medium helps a lot with like getting the colors to behave as needed. But there's something else we can try though. If wet blending isn't going to work out in our favor, we can do something else instead. Which is some glazing. Try some glazing instead, which I might actually do. We're not trying to make display quality miniatures here with these gals by any means, as much as I love them. You know, that at the end of the day, these are just sort of like my rank and file troops, so we're not going to put that much pain and mental fortitude, mental energy into but you know, we want to make them look a little nice. You know, we kind of want to level up here a little bit, or at least that's my aim. Posca and I thought the TV was glitching because of the BMG, so no, I just have a very eclectic mix of different playlists in this overall stream playlist tonight. Decided to play around with that a little bit. I'm gonna highlight or begin to layer a little bit on our wings here. It's not going to look the absolute cleanest, but again, that's fine. The quality of the mold on the wings can vary from model to model to an extent, so it's kind of like your mileage will vary based on like or what, like, you know, how, what should I say, your mileage will vary with how good like the mold is to the like the finer details. Some of them are going to be sculpted pretty well, some of them not so much. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, how is Posca doing, by the way, Gray? I hope she is doing well and living her best kitty life. Posca is Gray's kitty, to the uninitiated. Also, to those of you who are newer to the stream, if you're wondering who made the awesome channel art you see pretty much all over like my socials, including like my avatar, and all the channel art you see, like the starting soon screen and the and like my be right back screen and my end screen, all of that was done, drawn and animated by the ever so illustrious Gray. Gray hasn't been around in a minute on stream because they've been busy with the show they were working on, so I haven't been able to really give them their roses in a little bit in that regard, but I'm happy that they're here now, so I can tell you all about it. Isabel says, W art, yes indeed. Literally one of the reasons why I was able to get this channel even remotely started. So thank you, Gray, for all your hard work. Appreciate you, fam. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna reinforce this a little bit. Okay. Okay. This is going pretty well so far, I gotta say. I am excited about where this is going, honestly. Yeah, this is where the fun begins. Okay. Let's see. Sorry if I'm a little quiet here. I'm just kind of trying to concentrate on these models throughout these next few steps. I'm trying to think. Any developments with me in the last week or so since we last saw each other? A friend of mine, oh god, I can't believe I'm admitting this out loud, but a friend of mine recently convinced me to to download and try Genshin Impact, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've actually been having quite a bit of fun. Now, I haven't gotten really into all the gacha game stuff with it yet, but the gameplay, it's fun. I can definitely see the appeal. It's interesting because a game like that, I feel like Genshin Impact as a game punches way above its weight for what it is. At least so far with the little bit that I've played. Again, I'm not neck deep in it or anything yet, so I don't know how this game is going to make me feel later on down the line. But I can definitely see it as a game I play here and there, just when I need to turn my brain off for a bit and just chill. Kind of like Destiny has been for me and my friends for the last oh god, how long has it been since Destiny came out? 9 years? You're just the hot characters? Nah, I mean, the character designs are cool. I'm just saying, the gameplay. I'm here for the gameplay. It's cool, and the music's really good in that game too. I'm a big fan of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that game was definitely very much inspired by that. So anything that sort of scratches that itch for me, I'm down for. And I'm also down for hot anime characters too. There, I said it. You happy? Oh, dear lord. Oh, all right. I knocked my lamp down. That is what just happened there. I knocked my lamp down. Whoopsie daisy. Call that karmic retribution for my heresy just now. That is what I get for saying those words out loud. It's fine. I'll just run away with Pedro. No, babe, come back. No, don't. Babe, I'm sorry. No. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Oh my god. Oh my god, speaking of that, like I was rewatching the Boondocks the other day, and like one of my favorite scenes in that entire show is the season 2, it's from the season 2 episode with Usher in it, and like Tom sings Let It Burn with the most amazing cover I've ever seen anyone do in the history of anything. If you're not familiar with the Boondocks and you haven't seen that episode, you gotta check it out. Please do yourself a favor and check that out if you can. I'm back. Wonderful. Thanks for returning. I missed you. Where are you? Okay, let me not get copyright strike on YouTube. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. Anyway. Blink 182 aside. Other developments with me. I'm excited because this weekend I get to go clothes shopping for like the first time in a long time, and I'm looking forward to like to getting like, you know, a couple of like, you know, a couple of basic pieces that I need just for like my everyday wear, especially to work, but like also maybe pick up like a statement piece or two. I don't know, we'll see. I'm kind of like realizing that like my style of clothing that I like really love to wear, like really feel like me in, is kind of like, you know, Japanese streetwear, Japanese casual wear, like kind of tech wear too. I kind of want to lean into as well. Basically, what you would find at Uniqlo and then some. Basically, what you would find at Uniqlo and then some. So yeah, looking forward to going clothes shopping. I don't go clothes shopping for myself very often. I'm not the type of person to invest very much in my appearance, generally speaking, except for like special occasions and like, you know, every so often. I think I basically go shopping for clothes like kind of twice a year, once for the cold months and once for the warm months, and I kind of get like just the stuff, you know, that I need, the stuff that gets me, you know, by at work and stuff, and then, you know, prepared for any sort of climate. Being from Virginia, you know, you learn to adapt to, you learn to be prepared for any sort of climate that might come your way, because Virginia, you know, being on the east coast of the United States, we get all sorts of weather down there. Got all sorts of weather down there. When we go into oh my god, hi Matt. What up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. When we go into Spencer's, if you can find a Spencer's anymore, good gravy. Talk about extinct or endangered species of American retail. Right there, Spencer's. My local mall used to have one back in the day. It was just a few doors down from the Hot Topic in the mall too, so there's that, you know. Oh, Hot Topic. The sheer amount of anime inspired merchandise I shopped for there as a early high schooler. Dang, I kept that place afloat. I think my mall still has one too. Still has a Spencer's. There's that other department store in like every mall that markets itself with Japanese characters. Oh, there's that other department store in like every that markets itself with like Japanese characters. You talk about FYE, or you talk about For Your Entertainment, Matt? But it's basically also just Spencer's without the sex stuff. Yep. Pretty much. I don't think, well, actually, no, that probably isn't FYE. It's probably something else. God, what was it? I don't remember. Maybe it's FYE. I see. Gotcha. Yeah. being from Northern Virginia, we have like several malls all up and down like I-95. And it's kind of like a line of them basically going from like Fredericksburg or like Spotsylvania Mall is, and you go up to where I'm from in Woodbridge, where Potomac Mills Mall is, and then you go up a little bit further north, there's Springfield Mall, and then you got like Fair Oaks, Tyson's Corner, Pentagon City. Am I forgetting one? And you know, everyone in Northern Virginia's got their favorite, you know. They're a pretty meaningful part of the culture there. However, you know, capitalistic dystopic that might sound. Yeah, spending time in your local mall is like a huge thing growing up in my area. I spent a lot of time with friends there, especially in middle school too. Like, I would ask my parents to like drive me to the mall so I could like see my friends. And we'd like just walk around, kind of just doing nothing. Maybe occasionally going into stores to like try stuff on and be annoying. But you know, it was fun. It was some fun times, I gotta say. It was either that or like messing around in the parking lot of the local Target. Of which there were like 4 or 5 of them. Because that's what it's like being from the suburbs. You got like 4 of everything surrounding you at all times. Yeah, you're right. No, I got Pentagon Mall, Janine. I think I mentioned Pentagon Mall. Yeah, no, exactly, Ultra Lord. That's exactly why. Because it's like, shoot, that's a place where like a lot of young people in our area spend a lot of time there. So I remember being pretty shook when I heard about that too. Pentagon Mall, never actually shopped there. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually bought anything from Pentagon City Mall either. It's just, that mall in and of itself is just kind of like a marvel to behold, and kind of nothing else. I'm not entirely sure, Matt. I don't remember. Let's see. There we go. Just had to restore the point on my brush there a little bit before we continued on. I don't know if it's other malls too, but Nova especially gotta rock some clean shoes, otherwise them shoe cleaners will spot you a mile with true. Very true. You'd be like, hey man, let me clean those up for you. A friend of ours used to clean shoes as a bit of a side hustle here and there. He had like all the stuff for it in his basement and everything. I was like, dang dude, you got like a whole setup. If I didn't know any better, I'd confuse you for a Warhammer player or any other miniature painter. But yeah, no, he had the setup for real though. Okay, this is looking pretty good so far. Pretty good so far. At first I was concerned about how well these layers would sort of blend into each other, but from what I can tell, they're actually blending quite nicely with each other. So there's going to be very little work to be really done in that with regard to like smoothing this over when we get to that point eventually. But right now I am very pleased with the way that these are turning out so far. And I'm pleased with myself for not being half bad at a new skill that I've never really tried before. But yeah, and also, I don't know if anyone else here follows Formula 1 really. Matt, I know you follow Formula 1, and I know if Jordan were here, he would chime in into it. Zeal, you follow Formula 1 too, but it is race week yet again here. So we're very excited, looking forward to watching the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix this weekend. Very curious to see how Aston Martin's gonna do this weekend after Fernando Alonso took 3rd place during the season opener a couple weeks ago in a frickin' Aston Martin. People are foreseeing Red Bull domination again this year because it was a Red Bull 1-2 finish last couple weekends ago. Am I gonna go to the same restaurant? Yeah, I think we are. And I think Warren's supposed to be joining us. Haven't seen the new Drive to Survive yet. You gotta. It's interesting. It's kind of spicy. It's a pretty fun time. Some of the moments they capture, especially around Sebastian Vettel's retirement. Although I am mad that they glanced over what happened at Suzuka and how much of a travesty that race was. FIA probably stepped in to do a little something about that, honestly, if I had to take a guess. Let's see. We should start an F1 fantasy team. Could be dope. Honestly, could be pretty dope. Could be pretty exciting. George says, return to the dock. Hey, man, what's good? Good to see you. How you been? How you doing? We were just talking about you because I was bringing up Formula 1 and how it's race weekend again and how I'm very excited about that. Even though they are kind of sucking right now, I will proudly wear my Mercedes merchandise to the bar. Last time I went there, it was like pretty chock full of Mercedes fans, so like I know I'll be safe. But I know the Red Bull fans are gonna be obnoxious, and the Ferrari fans are just gonna be in the corner, kind of being sad. Last time I went, it was like a mix of like there was like a big Mercedes presence followed by like Red Bull, then Ferrari, and then McLaren. Oh, McLaren. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh well, them's the breaks. Them's the breaks. Dark Lord equals Alonso. I had a feeling you meant that. Yeah, honestly, I feel like this is really gonna be his year for a major comeback. Don't know about a WDC, but like definitely for sure is gonna like bring Aston Martin up in the overall team standings. Ferrari in shambles. No, literally. I'm so upset. I am so upset that Charles Leclerc had to take a grid penalty. Cause like, look, his car already sucks, and then he's got to go back 10 places because they had to swap out the engine. For those of you who don't know, in Formula 1, teams are only allotted a certain number of engine changes for the purposes of like repair throughout the course of the season. And anytime they do replace the engine, they have to take a grid penalty because like having a fresher engine, you know, theoretically your car could like perform better. So to like balance out the fact that you've changed out your engine, they have to put you further back in the grid no matter where you end up qualifying. It's like if you qualify first, you actually get sent 10 places back to 11th place on the starting grid. And so Charles Leclerc is already given a 10 place grid penalty in advance of the qualifying session this weekend, which sucks for him because he's already suffering so much. Now he's got to fight his way up from the middle of the pack, which he can do if he had a good car. Janine says, you built like an engine. Thank you. Oh my god, that's so kind of you. Wow. I've literally never gotten that before from anybody. Wow, I'm so flattered. I'm so touched. Wow. Built like an engine. Vroom vroom, am I right? That was horrid. Anyway. Yeah, I know, Isabel. I know. He has a good car, but they're Ferrari. That's true. Well, I guess only time will tell, but I guess, like, you know, despite them having, like, a good car, I guess the question is, like, is it reliable, though? You know what I mean? I mean, so far, the reliability has not proven itself to be the greatest, but I mean, it's only been, like, literally one race. weekend. So again, we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, Formula One's like the one and only sport I've ever like really been into, other than like track and field. But you know, like track and field, I mean, those competitions only happen so often. Well, I guess Formula One only happens so often too. When I was in middle school and high school and I ran track, I was like following the United States track and field scene a lot. Not so much anymore. Although, you know, I'll be tuned into all those events during like Olympics time for sure. Of course. I'll never forget one of the years my high school went to Penn Relays, which is like the track meet held at the University of Pennsylvania, where they have like they even have like middle school teams, but they also have like high school teams and college teams come from like across the country to compete. And then like on the last day of the weekend, yeah, that's what I was saying, Jenny. It's like, well, yeah, no, it's like if track and field doesn't happen often, then the Formula One doesn't happen often. Like they both happen often. So it was silly of me to say, but and on the last day of Penn Relays weekend, there was always like the USA versus the world tournament where like the national teams would come and compete, and that would be the day that everyone who like flew in from Jamaica to see their team would like come into the stadium, and they'd be like, you know, cheering, screaming out the top of their lungs, and it was always such a good energy. And in fact, the sweatshirt I had on at the top of the stream, this sweatshirt right here, I got this from our second trip to University of Pennsylvania, which was my sophomore year of high school. Oh my god, Gray. Yeah, so Gray, Janine, and Jordan, for context, they were all on the track team with me at the time. Oh, hi Zoe, nice to see you. Thank you for joining me here, joining us all. Welcome in. Yeah, no, like when you oh god, what was it, Gray? Was it the 400-meter relay or something like that you were running, and then started raining, and then like the track got slippery like midway through the race? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember which specific event it was, but yeah, that was brutal. That was a brutal day to be out there. I feel like getting to watch USA versus the world made up. Well, can't really say if it made up for it or not, but you know, because it was very dangerous track. Oh yeah, 400-meter. I thought it was the 400-meter, because the 400-meter is just, in my opinion, the single worst event in all of its forms in all of track and field, because it's too slow. It's too short to be a slower race, and it's too long to be, or yeah, it's too short to be a race where you pace yourself, and it's too short to be wait, am I saying that right? It is too long to be a race where you like go like. My point is, the 400-meter dash is is basically the kiss of death, because you're basically at a full sprint for an entire lap, and it's terrible. Bodies were dropping at the handoff. Oh my god. I remember seeing that from afar and thinking like, ooh, that does not look good. The 400-meter dash was always chaotic, because especially the 400-meter relay, the 4x4 was always super chaotic, because like it would be like, what, those were like waterfall handoffs, right? If I remember correctly, it's like a waterfall handoff where basically like you're all the remaining runners for the teams are kept to the side, and then you run onto the track as your previous runner is approaching. And oh my god, Janine, no, I'm not smelling toast. I am fine. I am not having a stroke. I just speak too fast to the point where my brain can't really catch up sometimes. Hashtag relatable. Anyway, yeah, so like it would cause a lot of chaos, and like multiple runners would be approaching the start at the same time, and it's kind of like, oh god, who's gonna get on the track first, and then like who's gonna bump into who. The one and only like major sports related incident came from a relay handoff too. Like my one and only major sports incident that resulted like in an injury came from a bad handoff when I was running the 4x100 meter relay in my freshman year of high school. Basically someone from the other team crossed into my lane as me and my partner were handing off the baton, and we all, actually no, the other guy didn't go down, but me and my teammate went down. I tumbled like 30 feet down the track. It was like it was one of the hottest days in May. Track was hot, so not only did I get like, you know, like scraped all up and down the side of my back, but I also got like, you know, a certain degree of like road burn from that too, and that just, that freaking sucked. My teammates carried me to the infirmary though, so that was nice. Carried us both to the infirmary, because then like Chance, my teammate, he sprained his ankle as a result. So that freaking sucked. neither of us were in any condition to move around after that incident. I think that was my last event of the weekend though, so like, at the end of the day, and this is at state championships too, so like, you know, at the end of the day, look back on that and just be like, oh yeah, that was a thing, but at the time, that freaking sucked. And anyone else who was there to witness that too knows how much it sucked back then. Y'all was mad. Yeah, we were mad. We were mad because the other team didn't get disqualified. They didn't get disqualified at all. Like, they didn't get any penalty, nothing. And I'm like, how? He stepped on my foot and he put his arm out. Like, that's the only reason why I fell. That was like about to be one of the cleanest handoffs in my life. And the only reason why we fell was because some dude stepped on me. And I don't get how the other team never got penalized for that or anything. Or at least weren't like they at least weren't like, you know, DQ'd or anything like that, which they probably should have been, but whatever. I am no longer very much of an athlete myself, but did we challenge? You know what? I don't know if we challenged or not. I do not know if we challenged or not. I don't remember if we did. I want to say no, actually. I don't think... Ooh, excuse me. I don't think we did challenge, actually. That's probably part of the reason why it, like, went through. Is because we didn't protest or anything. Or did Scotty... Honestly, Scotty Mac probably just let us take that L. Probably let us use it as a lesson for our growth. I'm like, thanks. Thanks, Scott. Our head coach at the time. Thanks, Scott, for choosing now to teach us an important life lesson during one of our most important races of the season. Our last race of the season. Appreciated that, dog. Oh my god, I will say, even though I'm not like much of an athlete anymore, I will say I do miss like the experience of like traveling with my team to meets and stuff. That was always super fun. Those bus rides were always super fun, especially like in like 2015 when like the music at the time was coming out and we'd like be jamming out to that. 2015 was a pretty alright year for music, I think. What year was this? That was freshman year, Jordan. I think the relay was you. The relay was you were our anchor, if I remember correctly, and then Chance started. I was second and Javon was third. Because you were always our anchor, because you're fast. Yeah, that was freshman year. Yep. Alright, almost done with this phase of layering here, which is exciting. Moving on to brighter layers here pretty soon. Javon, yeah, I know. I haven't thought of that man in like years. But I just remember that he was on that relay team with us during that incident. Oh boy. Oh man, it's crazy to think. I'm just laughing at how like long ago that was. Shoot, that was like 2015. So that was 8 years ago. That was 8 years ago. Oh my god. That's wild to me. Whew. Alright, back to the beginning with our girl Jan here. Jan. Ooh, it's already 9 o'clock, dang. Time flies. Speaking of, I hope y'all are having a good time. Hope y'all are having fun. I know I am. This has been a very productive night of stream, I think. I once again appreciate y'all very much for joining me. Oh, let me get that for 2. I gotta stop hitting the page down key on my keyboard because apparently that'll like move my screen. Oh, move me to a different screen if I do that. That's the only reason why I like accidentally bumped it a few times. What do I have here? I just grabbed a bottle of my glaze medium from up top above on my shelf. I haven't used this yet, but basically what we're going to do with this is we're going to use this to turn our paints from like a paint consistency to a glaze consistency. And this is going to be useful in blending together some of the more solid looking borders between our layers. And it's very important that sorry, I'm going to sound really weird as I'm doing this because I have to shake this up kind of violently because this is an unused bottle of glaze medium, and I gotta make sure that this stuff is mixed properly before I go any further. But yeah, gotta mix this up. That should be good. So yeah, we're just gonna combine paint with this to make it into a bit of a glaze for us. And we gotta be very careful with how much we use, because using too much of this, and it's like, uh-oh, you done goofed up. And basically what I'm going to do is in order to smooth out the layers between our French Mirage blue. Please do that in frame. I'm sorry. In order to smooth out the layers between our base coat of French Mirage blue. Actually, let me zoom in for this so this is easier. Oh my god. Y'all are crazy. You know what? Y'all. Bro, I swear, Janine, you and Nikki G, like, the last couple of streams, y'all have both been firing on the same exact cylinders, and that's hilarious to me, because, like, Nikki was, like, the first to get your Jansport joke, and then, like, now this. Anyway, what we're going to do, basically, is in order to smooth out the border between our base coat of French Mirage Blue, and then our first highlight tone, or first layer of, French Mirage Blue plus white. Alright, settle down now, children. Settle down. Let me stop. We're going to mix the two of them together with a little bit of glaze medium, and then we're going to just, like, paint over the part where they are, where they meet. And that should help smooth out the transition. And we're going to make sure we paint from the dark side to the brighter side, because ultimately what we want is we want the majority of our paint to land on the... I just realized I'm out of focus. We want the majority of our paint to land on the brighter side right here. Anyway, with all that being said, let's give that a shot. Good lord, y'all. I'm a wheeze. Please don't wheeze. I hear wheezing is generally not safe. I don't know. Anyway, let's get like just a little bit of glaze medium to start off with. Maybe a little bit more than that. Alright, that should be perfect. I'll pull back out now. Pull out real quick. I'll show you the mixing process for this. So, our spot of glaze medium is right there. Just gonna grab a little bit of French Mirage Blue. And then we grab a little bit of French Mirage Blue plus white. And we're gonna blend the two together. As you can see, this is already much thinner than like the paint that we're used to, that we have been working with at least. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna take that. Just gonna apply that over this border right here. And there we go, the border is kind of disappearing now on us, which is good. We want it to do exactly that. Nice. Looking good so far, looking good so far. Alright. Nice, okay. This border looks pretty good, so I'm not going to be too concerned about this one, honestly, so we're going to move on to the next. I'm basically just checking all the parts where the two layers meet and seeing if, like, if they need their transition smoothed out a little bit more. This one could use a bit of a smoother transition, I think. So we just need, like, a little bit. Smooth out that layer. Just like that. Yeah, that's working miracles for us. That's doing numbers right now for us. We're just doing a fantastic job at doing what we need to do. It's definitely not perfect by any means, but honestly, it would be foolish of me to expect perfection. I'm literally doing this for the first time ever. This layer looks pretty good, so I'm not going to worry myself too much with that. Let's see here. That looks pretty good, because thankfully since we're using gray, it's not going to stand out tremendously if we don't like perfectly blend over every single border here. We can always go back later and correct things if we need to. We got time, despite us being so many streams deep with each other. We are still very much in what I would pretty comfortably call the early phases still of like painting. Yeah, spoiler alert, painting it takes a while. But boy howdy are the results worth it, you know. Let's see here. Can't really see much of those areas with this one. I can kind of see a little bit right here. So I am going to smooth this one out. How are we on time? Oh, it's only 9:08. Nice. So we are definitely going to get to probably the third tier of highlights, or third tier of layering, before the night is done. Which is exciting. Okay, that looks good. I'm not going to do much more with that. Amazing. Ah, amazing. Thanks, Isabel. Appreciate that. And yeah, that looks pretty good too. Okay, great. So, I think with that, because I'm not trying to be too fancy with these highlights, so I think we're ready to move on to a, I think we're ready to move on to our white, the white proper now. So now we gotta strategize a little bit. Actually, I wonder, are we ready to move on to that? I gotta stop and think for a little bit here, because what I'm trying to decide is that gonna be too abrupt of a transition? Or should I make another intermediary color? So that's the tricky thing about wanting to paint something white, is that white in and of itself is such a bright color already. So like if you jump to it immediately, it doesn't really give you a lot of places to go really after the fact. And you know what? I think we'll be fine if we move to it right now. I think what I will do is I'll use a warmer white. I'll use pale sand. Do I have another option? No, actually, I won't use pale sand. Let me use a different white shade that I have. I actually have ivory here. We'll use ivory, and then we'll top the ivory we'll top the ivory with the whites, because since this ivory is warmer, we'll go from warm to cold. It's going to be a bit of a jarring transition from the gray to the ivory. But we can try it out on Jan here, see how it works. And if it doesn't work, well, at least we can say we tried. And sorry, y'all, I forgot. Gotta do the shaking on camera. Forgot about that. Alright, I hope y'all are happy now. Anyway. Golly. Dude, okay, look, I fixed it, okay? I fixed it, I fixed it, I fixed it. I realized my mistake, and I fixed it, okay? Moving on. Moving on. Please. Y'all have gotta chill. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Y'all, please spare me. Ooh, that is very thin. This might require a couple layers to get it down to the right consistency. But that's the case with most white paints anyway. Okay, let's give this a shot. This is the part where we find out whether or not we are doing this right at all. And if we're not, it'll become immediately obvious to us that we must change course. We're definitely gonna have to glaze these layers down a little bit. I think in a future iteration of this, another layer of a slightly brighter gray would do well between these two. I think I might have jumped to the white a little bit too soon. But also we'll see, because I haven't even tried to thin down the borders yet. Ooh, and we made a mistake. Hold on. Yeah, we should correct that one. That's clearly on the outside, so let me just get that up real quick. Okay. Okay. So I think we're gonna move away for now from doing the white of the cloak after I finish putting on these couple of layers with Jan. For now, just so that I can let this model dry, so I can continue with the experimentation before we go like any further with this Strax. I think this is definitely gonna require a little bit more experimentation on my part. To make sure that this is going to work and not look ugly. Isabel says, Jan, hell yeah. Oh boy. Well, honestly, what did I expect from my first attempt at layering ever? Perfection? Surely not. Surely not that. Anything but that. But that's okay though. We will figure this out eventually. We will figure this out eventually. Okay, instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna pivot now actually to, we're gonna layer the cloak. We're gonna layer the outside of the cloak. Last time we determined that that the best color, or like the color that we wanted, that we would want to use for that is our Screaming Bell, which is a rose gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my dry brush out of my toolbox here. Okay, that back. Grab my dry brush. We're going to grab our screaming bell, which is right here. Here it is, screaming bell, aka rose gold. We are going to shake it on camera. We're going to shake it on camera for all the people to see. Okay. See this, guys? You see this? See? I'm just shaking paint over here. I am just shaking paint. Unsung hero painting. Yeah, you're telling me, Gray. There's literally an entire speed painting technique centered around dry brushing that's really been taking off lately, called the slap chop method. Very popular among painters. Yes, yes, laugh, yes. Laugh all you can. Thank you for the applause, I guess. Very googly moogly. Okay. I'll laugh every time. Okay. Okay then. Load up our screaming bell onto this brush right here. Uh-oh. Oopsie daisy. Might need a little bit more than that. Oh, yeah. Stop. Y'all, oh my god. You're killing me over here, y'all. You're killing me. Alright, let's get some of this off the brush. Oh, that looks so nice. That's such a nice color, actually. Actually, good thing I'm wearing my glove, because now I can test it. That's still way too much paint. I need to get that. I'll load some more of that. You want to rub your paint into the paper towel until there's like barely any coming off anymore. You can also test it on your hand too. I guess it's a little bit harder since I have a glove on my hand, but that should be enough. Let's try it. Oh yeah. It's like very subtle, but it's there. Yeah. Yeah, that looks nice. I don't know if y'all can really see it through the camera. Let me try zooming in, seeing if that makes a difference. Let's see here. The two colors are very similar, so it might not look like there's much of a distinction right now. But I can see it here in front of me. And it looks pretty good, I must say. If you look like, if I like bend it in the light, if you look toward the edges of the where all like the bends are and the folds are, you can kind of see it shining on the edge ever so slightly. Yeah, generally though, I really like that. I hit this a little bit more over here. Yeah, the two colors are just already very similar to each other, so they don't really stand out very much. So it doesn't really stand out very much, but it stands out enough. It's nice and subtle, so I appreciate that. Also just might not have enough paint really loaded up onto the brush. That's not true, I have a pretty decent amount loaded up onto the brush right now. Yeah, there we go. Got a little bit of its shine restored back to it, which is cool. Okay. We'll stick to doing this for now while we wait for our ivory to dry on Jan. Need to reload this brush a little bit. I think. There we go. Okay, let's give this a shot now over here. gotta say, I was not expecting these two metallic colors to be this similar to each other. But actually, it's because like the hue of the rose gold is of course more pinkish, whereas the copper is a bit more yellow. And honestly, like when I turn it in the light, at least when I can observe it here in front of me, I can like see the two shimmers kind of blending together in a really cool holographic effect. So that's what I'm noticing as I continue to dry brush the rose gold on top. It's very subtle. Doesn't really show up well on camera at all, and I gotta refocus. Sorry about that. Oh wait, hold on. That was like perfectly in focus for a split second there. Keep it there for now, I guess. And yeah, I actually quite like the way that looks. Janine, shoutouts to you for that suggestion, because I know it was you who gave that suggestion the other night in the chat when I was trying to decide on how to go about doing that, so thank you for that, appreciate you. Got a classic banger from our first playlist you ever tried on this stream, which is the Sakura Dreams playlist. I feel like we haven't heard a lot of Sakura Dreams tonight, ironically enough. Well, this is what happens when you put an entire playlist of like 120, maybe 200 tracks on shuffle. Oh, thanks, babe. I appreciate that. So I'm just gonna do like a wee bit of a test here to see how much is actually. Oh yeah. See, I like that a lot. That's good. Have I ever listened to Pink Panthers? No, not really. I mean, I've heard the one song that like is everywhere on like TikTok and stuff, but like other than that, no, I've never listened to her music. Why do you ask, Matt? Really? Wait, Isabel, are you serious? No way. That's wild. I figured if anyone would know who Bob Ross is, it would be your mom, but... Huh. How about that? Well, you should maybe like tune into his to the rerun live stream on weekends on Twitch and show her a few episodes. Honestly, that'd be a fun thing to do together too, as like a bonding activity. And honestly, we should have ourselves a Bob Ross paint night one of these nights. I'd be down to like go to the art store and get some supplies. Maybe borrow some from friends who have them. I know a couple of friends around here who got like some spare canvas lying around that they probably don't need at this moment, like right at this moment. Or at the very least we could like buy it off of them or something if they would rather use it. Some certified pre-owned canvas. Oh yeah, I didn't finish my point I was trying to make earlier about Bob Ross. So when I was like watching him like, you know, paint, I realized like, oh my god, so much of this like applies to like miniature painting, and I didn't even realize that like, you know, I had like learned so much that like when I go back and like watch his live stream, which I've been watching for like a really long, I've been like tuning in for that on the weekends like on and off for like the last 3 years, you know, ever since like lockdown and everything. And it's just like, oh my god, I understand like what's going on, like what he's talking about even more clearly now than, you know, I did even given like, you know, even before, like, you know, he explains things like very clearly, I feel like in his series too, so that anyone can understand it, you know, not just people who paint. Like, that was cool to see. I'm gonna give this sister a little bit of like a metallic dry brush on her backpack just to sort of give her a little bit of like a worn out look to her backpack. That actually looks kind of dope. This is what I did to the backpack just now. Just gave it a little bit of a dry brush treatment there to make it look a little bit like the blue paint. It's kind of wearing off a little bit. That's my favorite use of dry brushing, is to create those sort of like worn out metal, like worn out paint effects. Which is ironic because I am literally painting them right now. Of course. Oh. Ah, dry brushing. You magical thing. Yep, the live stream goes bonkers. Isabel. Mm-hmm. I'll give this sister a worn out look to her backpack too, because why not? Just to give them a little bit more character. Yeah, that looks good actually, especially because like it matches the cloak, of course, already, or the cloth, of course. By the way, guys, just want to once again say thank you for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate all y'all coming by to stop by, support, and hang out. Don't forget, y'all, if you like what you see here, don't forget to leave a like, please, on the stream. It would really help my channel out a lot for YouTube to see, of course, that people like the stream. And don't forget to subscribe as well. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone here is already subscribed, so it's already all well and good. Of course, hit the notification bell. That way you know exactly when I go live every week. Also, good news is I requested for my Thursdays at work to be virtual from now on, so I could like prepare for stream and not have to worry about rushing home late at night, or rushing home at night if I like stay at work late anymore. So now we will be able to, we should hopefully, ideally, no longer need to rush home for stream or delay stream anymore on Thursday nights. And of course, you can always check out my social media, my Twitter and my Instagram, for updates regarding the stream. Obviously to see pictures of my work as well, especially past projects that I've already completed. You can find my socials down below if you are interested and don't already follow me. Thanks, guys. Ooh, yeah, got a super worn out one right here. That looks dope. I love it. I love it. I think we'll do, you know what? I think we'll just do half and half. I'll do the last 5. I'll do like the whole back row of sisters like that. Janine says, hey, wearing her back. Oh my god. Milk Dream says, smash that like button. Yes, absolutely. Also, the timing of that with the music just now. Hold on. Oh my god, the timing of me saying smash with the start of that next track. Wild. Anyway. God, this cheap one-ply paper towel is gonna be the death of me. Bounty is the goat of painting paper. Yes, absolutely, I agree, and I'm mad that the grocery store near me was out of Bounty, so I had to settle for this stuff instead. But yes, Bounty is truly the ultimate, painter's paper towel, for sure, for sure. 100% agree with you on that one, bruv. 100%. What was the best Billy song by Larry? Is that a reference to something, Janine? You mean like Larry, like SpongeBob Larry? Because you know I've never seen SpongeBob before in my life. That's the only like famous Larry that I can think of that you could be referencing. Okay, there was some of this actually. Just cleaning up some of this excess paint that got into this part of the pot right here, so that way it doesn't dry and ruin the seal here. Important for these to close airtight, of course, because otherwise your paint will dry out. And we don't want our paint to dry out. Shit's too expensive. Okay. Our poor little beat up dry brush, but that's the point. Oh my god. Oh, sorry, I totally misread. Silly songs by Larry. You mean VeggieTales? Okay. Yeah. Sorry, the synapses did not fire in my brain just now. It's gotta be Mr. Luntz's song about the cheeseburger, bro. I mean, that's just iconic. And then like, oh, where's my hairbrush? I think takes home the silver. But yeah, the I Love You Cheeseburger song, that one goes insanely hard, and it's also like low-key, like very well orchestrated too. But yes, those are my thoughts. What about you, Jenny? Which one do you think is the best silly song by Larry? Even though I guess technically that one's not by Larry, but it played during the same segment of the show, so it counts. At least in my opinion, it does. Where's our brush? The water. Oh my god, the Water Buffalo song. Okay, wait, yeah. I still put Mr. Luntz's cheeseburger love song in first place, but I think Water Buffalo just knocked Oh Where's My Hairbrush down from second and took its spot instead. Final answer. Oh, the Santa one is good too, yeah. Dang, so many memories being unlocked right now. Sheesh. Okay, we've come back to Jan now to test out, to continue the ivory test here. Of course, as soon as we switch to our girl jam, we get the calm, serene music. Love that for us. Okay. But yeah, honestly though, what you can see is you can actually kind of see like what we're going for kind of coming to life here though, or at least starting to a little bit. Now that we've gotten to like the wider layers of the cloth. I gotta say, this is the smoothest finish on an all-white area that I've, like, ever gotten, really. One of the smoother finishes I've achieved. White paint tends to be very chalky and therefore hard to get, like, a very smooth finish on, no matter how well you technically thin the paint. So I'm happy with what we got so far. These newer paintbrushes, too, their points are amazing. Like, I've never had a paintbrush this good where it, like, holds the point so well. Holds its point so well. That, of course, is very helpful. I'm a really big fan. Big fan, big fan, big fan. Here's what else I'll do for Jan right now. I'm gonna move to a different part of the model. I'm gonna move back to her bolt gun right here, strapped to her back, and I'm gonna cover up some of these mistakes we've managed to make. Where we've covered these areas with our metallic paint by mistake. Let's stay with Jan. We're gonna fix these up real quick, because I think what I'll do next is I'll just go ahead and paint her bolt gun. Just while I'm waiting for the ivory to dry. Kind of not my main focus per se, but like I don't want to move forward with the other 9 sisters until this experiment either proves itself to be a success or, you know, an abject failure. So I want to give that time to dry, but I don't know what else I'd work on right now, so we're just gonna stick with Jan for a little while. Our girl Jan, our hero. I probably have metallic paint on my forearm because I just put it inside of, or I just put it on top of the paper towel I was using for dry brushing, which I think I'm going to go ahead and move out of my way so that I don't do that, because it looks like I actually managed to narrowly avoid such a fate. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, Jen. Hey girl, hey. So... let us cover up these mistakes. Whereas Bob Ross, the American icon that Isabel's mom has never heard of, would say, happy little accidents. There are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. Jan. It's Jan o'clock. Actually, what time is it actually right now? It's 9:38. Okay, cool. So I think we are very, very much approaching a good end point of stream for tonight. We'll get there pretty soon here, it looks like. Yeah, that blends back in very nicely, especially since we used our French Mirage Blue to do our zenithal highlighting. It's literally the exact same tone of gray underneath the white dry brush, so it all just blends back in together very, very nicely. Note to self when correcting mistakes with a zenith on top of a zenithal highlighting, going back to French Mirage Blue is very helpful in order to do that. Since we used French Mirage Blue and the zenithal to begin with. Scratch my hair here. Hi Holly, welcome in. Glad you enjoyed the vibes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. How you been? Or how are you, rather? Because this is your first time here, and I appreciate you for stopping by. Oh shit, I just realized I needed my other piece of paper towel. Silly me. Oop, almost knocked Jan over. Alright, there we go. Alright, perfect. Just had to rearrange my workspace there for a little bit. Okay, we got a little bit more of a corrections to make. We got a few more corrections to make, and then we'll be ready to apply some black contrast paint over her weapons. I'm good. Wiped out on the ski slopes today and fell 200 feet. Oh my god. Like vertically? Or just like distance wise? Or like kind of both because you were like going downhill, I guess. Uninjured. Oh, I'm glad you're uninjured because that sounds literally terrifying. Oh my god. Yeah, really glad to hear you're okay. And of course, glad to see that you're here to join us too and to chill out. Appreciate you for stopping by. What we got here, Holly, since this is your first time here, these are Sisters of Battle from Warhammer 40,000, an all-female fighting force of the Imperium of Mankind from the year 40,000, or from the 41st millennium, rather. I was like sliding down ice on the mountain. Oh my god. Well, I am very, very, very glad to hear that you are okay. Geez, like, and that you avoided serious injury too. That's good. That's good to hear. It's very good to hear. But yeah, so we're just painting these gals up. We're mainly just doing a lot of like basing and layering right now. Not really in finishing touches phases at all with these gals, but you know, we're making progress. We're making our way. Downtown. Walking fast, faces passing, I'm homebound. Anyway, oh, this is really cool. Oh, I'm glad you think it's cool. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yep. I think we are ready to move on to... hold on. Got a little bit of a ding right there too I want to correct before we go any further. Just gonna recover that little bit up right there. And that should be good. Alright, let's move on to the contrast paint real quick. So, I think, or actually we're gonna do a combination of contrast and of... We're gonna use one of our speed paints. Where is my hardened leather speed paint? We're gonna use hardened leather speed paint for all the traps? For all the straps, excuse me. I don't think the sister's carrying any bear traps. No, she is not. And then we're gonna use contrast black Templar for the main body of her weapons. Get it real quick. So let me shake this up a little bit. Okay, and then where's my speed paint? I'll shake that up too. Okay, perfect. Now we'll apply the black Templar first, since we're mainly using that. Since we're mainly using the hardened leather for more detailed work. Anyway, make sure our brush is nice and wet. Oh, and before I go any further, I almost forgot. I'm actually going to use a different brush for this because I should. We're going to use the size 5. Actually, we're not going to use this size 5. We're going to use our older, more beat up size 5 brush. We're going to use my older, more beat up size 5 brush for this because, like I said last time, for any sort of like thin contrast or shade paints, I like to use the same brush every time because those run straight down to the fair rule of the brush and will ruin them over time. So you have to kind of pick a brush and sacrifice it every time. Paint for the paint god, am I right? That's a Warhammer joke. So those of you who might not be aware. Let me see. Alright, we're going to load this up with our black Templar. I'm going to assess the thickness of it real quick by putting it on our wet palette. That could be thin, a bit thinner, I think. And so we're going to just grab a drop of water, mix that in there, and I think we're good to go. We're just going to apply that. This is going to work very similarly to how we painted the armor, which was also a contrast paint, if you recall. And we're just going to put that directly on top of the gun. And you can see the zenithal highlighting, just poking straight through that. I'll zoom in so you can see it a bit better. Who is the chaos god of paint? Who is the chaos god of paint? That is a good question. Jackson Pollock. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, no. I take that back. Full send. Jackson Pollock was the chaos god of painting, and he was too powerful, too mighty. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, with the black contrast paint just applied directly on top of the bolt gun, we get that really nice free highlighting going on right there. I'm gonna get that inside part right there, without knocking over the pot of Black Templar that's currently below my forearm directly. I'm gonna actually close that while we have a moment to do so. Perfect. Let's see. I like it. Nice. Let's see. Oh, I guess Slaanesh technically... I guess, yeah, Slaanesh technically is the Chaos God of Paint. That would make sense. For those of you unaware of what I'm talking about, in the world of Warhammer, both in 40k and in Age of Sigmar, there are 4 gods of chaos that the Chaos Demons and the Chaos Space Marine factions of the game sort of pledge their allegiance to. There's Slaanesh, there's Tzeentch, Khorne, and then Nurgle. Nurgle's kind of like the god of like rot and decay and death. Then you got Khorne, which is like, you know, violence and blood. That's where the phrase blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne comes from. The one I was kind of like making a reference to before. Then you got Tzeentch, who's the god of change and like trickery and mind tricks. You ask a question to Tzeentch and he responds with like 10,000 more questions for you, none of which are even remotely related to what you originally asked, or so you think. And then you have Slaanesh, who is God, how do I Ultralord, do you want to help me out with a description of Slaanesh, basically, because I don't really know how to put it into, like, put their, like, identity into words very succinctly, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Other than just saying, like, they're the BDSM chaos god. No, that's not all, but basically, like, the god of, like, pleasure and pain and also, like, excess and stuff. And just, like, general shenanigans. That's how I would describe Slaanesh in a nutshell, pretty much. So you got these 4 chaos gods, and anyone who's aligned with chaos in the game of Warhammer 40k basically falls somewhere underneath one or more of those gods. If I have that right. I'm not really that into chaos because I'm loyal to the Emperor. Yeah, excess and BDSM in a nutshell. That's basically right, Nikki. Oh, that's that basically is what Nikki is saying. Yeah. In a nutshell, the world of Warhammer 40k is all fun and sunshine and rainbows, guys. Did you know that? That's why the tagline of the franchise is, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Okay. I think we're ready for another layer of ivory. This is gonna take like several coats. Because white paint stinks. It's a little too thin. Grab some more from the source bubble right there. Okay. Still the smoothest iteration of these cloths I've ever painted, though, that's for sure. So even if these don't turn out exactly as I had planned them to, that's okay. Because I think we've still made some progress here, all the same. I'll tell you what, though, kind of give you an idea of like where we're headed. One of my sort of like endgame model painting, one of my endgame model painting goals is to work my way up to being able to paint. Let me find her real quick. She's on my shelf, still wrapped in her shrink wrap and in her box, because I have not really touched this model since I got her. Let me take my order receipt off too. That's still on there. And my extra bases that I ordered with this too. I want to work my way up to being able to paint this model, Celestine, the Living Saint. I want to do a non-metallic metal paint job for Celestine, using the same copper color, or using like a paint scheme inspired by the same copper that all my sisters basically have on their cloaks. So like I'm trying to, like, you know, learn and hone in on my techniques for, like, you know, blending and layering and stuff before I make my way up to her. And we have a few projects planned out in the way before we get to Celestine, and her accompanying Gemini Superior on either side of her, who are like elite seraphim of the order, or of the Adepta Sororitas. But yeah, this is what we're working our way up to, is painting this gal right here. I want her to be like one of the centerpieces of my army. So yeah, that's kind of why starting like now. Oh, Nikki, you've painted Celestine? Nice. Is she up on your Instagram? I don't know if I've like gone that far down like your archive of posts, but if she's on there, I would love to like take a look at her, and I think I will at some point offline. But yeah, Celestine's such a cool model. It's one of the most gorgeous models in the game, in my opinion. It's kind of the reason why I chose the Adepta Sororitas in general, just because I think a lot of their models are some of like the absolute best in the game, if I'm being perfectly honest. They literally have a tank that has an organ that shoots rockets off of it. Like, how cool is that? That, of course, being the Exorcist tank. It is a while ago. Yes, okay, cool. I'll take a look at it. I'm gonna go take a peek-sees at that. Also, it is now 9:53. So I think we're going to stop there for the night, because don't really know how much further we can really get. I think we got pretty far, though. I think we made some pretty decent progress tonight with our layering. That moved really quickly, and I gotta say, like, these new this new paintbrush, I feel like played a huge role in that, because I didn't have to like fight the paint at all, you know, and it just like kept its points. I didn't have to like hesitate really to like get into like the tight areas too, which is really nice. So yeah, Isabel, babe, shout outs to you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the gift of these new brushes. You are the best, and you are all the best, actually. I really appreciate y'all so much for coming in and joining in on the stream tonight. I hope everyone had a really good time. Once again, I'm just going to ask y'all real quick that if you haven't already, please remember to hit the like button, leave a comment at some point in the future, you know, once this VOD goes up. Of course would help the channel out. Or, you know, I've started posting shorts recently. I don't know if I've talked about this really on stream, but I've started posting shorts recently that are mainly just sort of snippets of this stream, maybe a meme here and there, to, you know, keep things light. But yeah, so go and check those out, share them with people, so they can get a taste of what we do here at Chimera Games, in case they don't want to watch, you know, a whole 3-hour VOD, which, you know, of course, who has the time for that nowadays, right? And of course, don't forget, as always, to subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already. That way you know exactly when I go live, which is going to be every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Ugh. Freaking Daylight Savings Time. But, you know, we out here. And yeah, thanks so much for another fun stream, everybody. Had a really good time talking to y'all. Hope y'all had a good time as well. And I'll catch you at the next one. So, take care, everybody. Have a good night.